Hello and welcome to all you November people to another color reading from Karen's Colors. This time it's for July 2026. Now, if you've been here before, then you know what to expect. I'm Dr. Karen and I give general color readings for each of you to see how your next month will develop. If you haven't been here before, well, then you probably find this a little unusual, but find yourself extremely welcome all the same. June was a bit of a mixed bag for most of us, and if you had a little bit of a problem, then I hope that by the end of the month it has sorted itself out. Certainly, July offers us another start to a different month. And as a general reading, take what resonates and please leave aside what doesn't. You might even like to come back towards the end of the month to see just how it fared for you. So let's begin then, shall we? Now, before I begin, this month we're going to be taking one of the oracles from the Treasures of Takashi. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Do not fear it. To truly fear your aliveness, be aware of yourself and yet allow your heart to be open. Be vulnerable to the joys of life. Let them in. Do you need to feel vulnerable before you will allow support? Do not judge your feelings. So now let's look for some colors for people born in November for their July 2026. And the strength we have here is blue on orange. The obstacle to be faced is black on cyan. And the underlying energy is red on red. The strength that you bring with you into the month. Blue on orange. Now, the first thing we need to note is that blue and orange are opposites on the color wheel. And as such, it means that there is a tendency to swing from one extreme to the other. The blue in the real world is driven by the underlying need or drive or motivation that comes from the internal world. And in this case, that particular need or drive or motivation is orange. Orange is the need for confidence, the need for courage, the need to be able to survive whatever calamity you perceive is coming towards you. And the way in which you do that in the real world is to get organized, to become orderly in the things that you do, making sure that all of your ducks are all in a row, that you accomplish everything that needs to be done, that you are taking on whatever responsibilities and duties are assigned to you or that you have taken on for yourself, and that you fulfill those to the best of your ability. The orange internally then means that the more that you accomplish, the greater your feeling of confidence that you can continue to work hard. The issue here, of course, is that this is a cycle. And because you're going from the need to feel as though you've accomplished something to actually accomplishing it, means that there's a continual work happening here. When we take blue and orange and mix them together as a single color, we end up with brown. And brown is all about goals and aspirations and also the practical skills that are necessary in order to accomplish whatever it is that you set out to do. The obstacle that you're faced with is black and cyan. Cyan as the driver is the need for peace and harmony and contentment and just for things to settle down and relax and to be stable. In the real world, however, it's not just stability that happens, it's absolute stagnation. Black externally means that there is a drive here towards making sure that you remain hidden. You're taking time out. You're stopping yourself from doing things. Maybe there's even a halt to your activities. And so internally, this drive for satisfaction and peace and harmony comes through as not being able to achieve anything at all. Now, the interesting thing is that cyan and blue are fairly closely related. We know that blue is all about duty and responsibility. Cyan is about contentment. But if you're looking for contentment through your work, because they're both associated with the color blue, which is associated with work, then the ability to do the work is a strength, but the need for having that work be sustained as an absolute perfection, in other words, no housework left to do, then becomes the driver that is unable to be accomplished because of this overwhelming blackness, this feeling of despondency that comes when there is just too much and you have run out of whatever energy is necessary in order to accomplish what you're looking for. Which is rather interesting because what we have here as the underlying support energy is red on red. Now, you can't get any more active than red on red. But when we have the same color, top and bottom, that is in the real world, as well as the driver in the internal world, it means there is a limitation to the way in which you can carry out whatever it is that this color represents. And what it represents is impulsivity of the choices that you make. Something is attractive, it appeals, you go and you grab it. And while this can, when it's attached to your strengths, can actually allow you to take advantage of just about anything that comes your way, when it's attached to your obstacle, it becomes an issue of making unwise and impulsive choices that you may even need to regret later on. Red on red is the ultimate in attraction to something or anything in your environment that suddenly you fall instantly into passion with. It's not necessarily love, but it's definitely passion. And the more passion there is involved as the underlying energy, the more likely it is that the choices that you make may lead to some form of outstanding experience that can be positive or negative, depending on whether you're talking about your strength or the obstacle. So let's have a look at how these interact. Now, we have blue and orange. We have red and red. And we have black and cyan. Very well then. Looking firstly at the interaction between the strength and the underlying energy. Blue and red together are the actions that are able to be accomplished quite easily by you. That's why they're your strength. Blue, as we know, is duty and responsibility. Red in the real world is having all the energy that's necessary to do whatever has to be done. And together as a combined color, if we mix the two colors together completely, then we end up with purple. And purple is all about creation of change. It's fixing things. It's making things fun. It's creating a sense of childish enjoyment out of life. Red represents fathering energy, masculine energy. Blue represents mothering or feminine energy. And when we mix those two together, we get the sort of parental response that produces children who are able to enjoy their lives. And this is your strength. You are able to create enjoyment out of even the most mundane of drudgery. The driver that keeps these going is orange and red. Now, orange and red are both quite vibrant colors, and because of this, they have a tendency to cause you to perhaps make decisions and also get involved in activities that might just cause some sort of upset. Orange is about having confidence. Red is about being highly attracted to whatever possibilities there are in what is facing you. Now, if we take those energies, those drivers, and swap them across, we have an interesting situation here in that instead of the colors now being mixed in the external world, they are now aligned in their own combination. Red is passion. Blue is being able to carry that through into the sorts of activities that keep you responsible and organized. And in fact, this is it's pretty much the sort of perfect employee. This is the person who never runs out of energy and in the real world can be relied upon to do whatever is necessary to do, and they always do it well. That's a strength. As well as this, you also have the red and orange now in a single line. Orange is confidence and red is, again, passion, attraction, and the grabbing of opportunities as they arise because you have the power to do so. Now, the orange internally means that there is also here a likelihood that whilst you might be the perfect employee, the perfect worker, you also are capable of taking on challenges that other people would be not game enough to do, because you have not only the drive and the confidence to do so, but you have the passion to carry out whatever needs to be done, so that you are able to not only stand up and be counted, but also stand up and withstand any sort of attack. You have that possibility within this combination. Now, what happens when we attach those now to the obstacle? Now, when we take any color and add black to it, and here you have black and red occurring within the same activity, then here we have a situation in which the choices that you make, the passions that lead you on, can sometimes cause you a great deal of harm. And the reason for this is that when you should be stepping back and stopping, you nevertheless drive forwards. It's like you take risks that really are not well considered. As well as this, in the internal world, we have red on cyan. Now, red and cyan are not much different from red and blue, but as drivers, here we have passion and we have contentment. It's as though you are swinging constantly between just let things be. Everything's fine. I don't need anything else in my life to I want. And so there is this constant driving backwards and forwards between being content and happy and stable, and at the same time being very discontented, very not necessarily unhappy, but desirous and unstable. Now, if we cross these over, we have a similar sort of situation arising. Instead of the red and cyan being the drivers internally, now we have a situation in which the driver, this need for stability and contentment and everything in its place and everything stable, in the real world comes through as you wanting to constantly make alterations. You're taking on risks. You're creating challenges that are there only because you can challenge the status quo. But inside yourself, you're quite happy and able to settle back and enjoy the fact that you are creating havoc in the real world. But remember, this is dealing with an obstacle. So even while you're busy doing this, you're actually creating for yourself problems. And those problems are situated here in the black over red. Whenever we have black and red as a combination that exists within a driver activity set, like we have here, then this has to do with a challenge to sexuality. Sexuality has to do with how you present yourself to the real world. Are you coming across as being too aggressive? Are you coming across as being too much of a downer? Are you coming across as someone who cannot be trusted? Or are you coming across as someone who will take on the daredevil role, do just about anything, and to hell with the consequences? This is all tied in with the obstacle that you need to deal with. So let's have a look at the colours that are missing to ascertain what we could possibly take on as alternatives. So leaving those colours aside, let's now look at what is missing. For a start, there's no white. There's no yellow or green or brown or grey or purple, although it is hidden in there, and pink is also missing. Now, these 7 colours here are all skills that you are currently not going to be using in July unless you deliberately place them within your repertoire. White is about being open to experience, just letting things happen. Unlike the black here, which is closing off from experience, and it is in your obstacle, so it's a problem, white is the opposite. It allows you to simply open up and let experience come to you and deal with it as it arises. Yellow is about memory and learning and digesting of information, and also finding happiness and cheerfulness within whatever it is that you have experienced. Green is about opening up to new pastures, finding new space, being able to let go of the past and move forward in another direction. Brown has to do with creation of some sort of goal and attributes that will allow you to feel as though you have accomplished something that you have set out to do. Now, it's available here as a hidden energy within your strength, but as a color in its own right, it doesn't exist. Grey is the middle road between white and black. Black you have as an obstacle, white is missing altogether. Grey allows you to find that middle path between the extremes of hiding yourself away or just simply being open to anything and everything all at once. Purple has to do with healing. It's hidden within the red and blue that you have here as part of your strength, but as a colour in its own right, it's not there and so needs to be considered. Purple has to do with fixing things that have gone wrong. And then we have pink. Pink is all about being accepted, being loved, but also being loving and accepting of others in return. It's about vulnerability. It's letting things happen because you have no other option. So of those 7 colours, which is the one that you would most like to have in your life, and which is the one that is the least appealing? If you add those 2 into your repertoire, you'll find that where you're traveling throughout the month of July will end up somewhere different, rather than finding yourself in a precarious situation, because this is the underlying energy that is precarious. Red on red says that you are likely to make decisions and do things based on impulses rather than consideration. So perhaps you might like to fix that little problem. Well, if nothing else, July certainly seems to be becoming a very interesting month indeed. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed this reading and that you take away from it or from the treasure of Takashi something that will benefit you throughout the month of July. Until we meet again, may the colours of your life bring you all of the joy and happiness that you require for your own higher good. Catch you next time. Bye.